Welcome to the top animated podcast on YouTube right now. It is Toon Talk TV, and I am sitting in the host chair this week.
Woo!
For the resident dummy of our podcast, Nicholas Garcia. But no worries. We actually have someone here who knows what they're talking about. I am so excited to introduce you to a master voice manipulator. She has a professional background in vocals, and she is an all-around cartoon lover, maybe even more than me and you, Al. And she is voiced in Tucker Talks, and she is voiced in Sports Better. Let me introduce you to Connie Dizonno.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was an introduction.
There's one more thing that you kind of missed in that introduction.
Oh, please.
That's your girlfriend.
Oh,
Come
well,
on,
we weren't
man.
going to
What
tell
That's-
everyone
I
that.
mean-
but
Come on.
I
That's
do live
not
with
why
her.
I'm
so-
here.
Yeah.
No, of course not. But I would say that's part of the
You
introduction.
think that's significant?
I would
Yeah.
say. I would say.
Sure. She is my partner in crime. We are partners. You bang.
Is that what you're gonna say?
I was
That's
going to
what
say
it
we
sounded
bounce
like.
ideas. Yeah, but we bang too. That's cool.
Yeah. Everyone needs to know.
So how was that introduction? How are you doing today?
That was
Con?
I'm doing great. That was a fantastic introduction. I didn't expect it, but it's pretty accurate. So
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have to say one of my favorite things to do with you ever is, I don't even know if you know this, but when we go on long trips or if we're just sitting on the couch sometimes I will randomly just ask you to do impressions. Now, sometimes it might be an accent, it might be a specific character, but I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Can I throw out some things, and can you try some accents for us?
Oh.
You got to do it.
I have to, but let me just preface it with when I'm trying, it's worse. That's the case for everyone.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Totally.
Let me also
All right.
say that's part of the fun. I feel like sometimes I'll throw you something,
And it's so
you'll-
bad.
Well, you'll
It's really
kill
bad.
it sometimes.
I prefer
and
it to be
sometimes
really
it's
bad.
really. Yes, everyone loves. If you're a train
All
wreck
right,
at this,
fantastic.
it's going to be even more entertaining. So
All
let's
right.
try that out. But I'm so a couple that I know you're good at. So if you bomb right now, I know you're just bombing, but I know you're fucking good at this one.
Okay.
Give us an Australian accent.
Okay. Well, it's like you've got to talk like this. It's not as good as it normally is right now. But Arnar.
That is fantastic.
That is
I love
good.
it.
Arnar.
Give me.
Arnar.
I think it's 1920s, 1950s girl. It's a transatlantic. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yes, mister. That's exactly what it's called. It's like the Judy Garland. I don't know what year it is either.
I fucking
That's
love
good.
it.
That's good.
And one more I'm going to throw out. Sexy baby.
Oh, you don't even know what sexy baby is. Just a sexy baby. Mister.
Fucking
good.
hilarious.
That's
Now,
good.
if you didn't
That's good.
think Connie was a fucking voice master and manipulator, you now know she fucking kills it every single time. I feel like we have
Singer
these-
too. We should tag some of her solo music in the.
Maybe we could play the music for an intro. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So
like that.
You
I
just
like that.
listened to Connie Dizonno in the intro track.
It's
and
Constance
outro.
Dizonno
My bad.
online.
Constance.
Okay, Constance.
My
that's,
bad.
That's the name.
So so I don't even know if you've watched our podcast. Have you watched our podcast, Connie?
Yeah, of
Bullshit.
course.
Bullshit.
Of course. No, you know what? Honestly, I'm excited to be on one, but I can't do podcasts. I guess, there's a visual to this. It's fine. But I can't stand talking unless I'm allowed to talk. And I can't talk during listening to a podcast.
All right. Okay.
I don't know.
Wait,
That's
what are you saying?
it's
Are you
weird.
you want to chime in when you're listening to a podcast, or
Yeah,
what-
it's it gives me a headache to not talk while people are talking about things.
That's
which is
crazy.
I know.
I'd much
Whatever.
rather just listen. Even in a regular conversation, I'd rather just have other people talk and me like sit back and listen to them. But
No, I'm opposite.
That's
I can't-
okay.
I have to talk.
well, now that you have a mic, interrupt or say whatever you feel when we're talking.
I have so much to say today.
Well, I'm going to stop you real quick then because you don't know the format of how we normally do stuff. I'm going to take the reins at first. And speaking of Australian accents, the cartoon that I am watching this week, the cartoon that I picked is Yolo Crystal Fantasy. Have you guys ever watched that?
Yeah, that one's a
Yes.
good one. Actually, you kind of sounded straight out of it when you were doing the voice acting.
What is it? Siri, stupid bitch.
Was that Rachel? Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Sarah, you stupid
Sarah, you
bitch.
stupid bitch.
Yeah, the reason I picked this one is because Michael Cusack is going to be a fucking powerhouse next month, releasing 2 cartoons on 2 huge platforms. He is going to release the second season of Yolo. The first one was called Yolo Crystal Fantasy, which is the one we'll be talking about today. But on January 22nd, Yolo Silver Destiny will come out, and it's the second season of that show. And then also Koala Man, which is going to be a new cartoon series on Hulu with the help of Justin Roiland. I think he's a producer in that, and a couple, I think Hugh Jackman is acting in that. So this dude
Really?
is all over. Yeah.
What is he playing in that?
Well, actually, I don't want to talk too much about Koala Man because I might bring it back next week. So
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Do you know, is he like the main character or whatever?
No, he's a side character, which is hilarious for fucking Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
to
That
be
is-
in a
that
fucking
is-
cartoon role. And I think it's a
That's
side
too
character.
funny.
I mean, it might be a main character. I don't
No,
know.
but regardless, I guess animation. I don't
Yeah,
know. Has
yeah.
he done that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe like some like DreamWorks 3D thing or something that he's. But I don't know. I can't think of anything
Yeah,
off the top
I
of
don't
my
know.
head. But yeah, so Michael Cusack, who was the creator of Crystal Fantasy, is also the co-creator of Smiling Friends. So this guy is all over the map as far as animation goes. Where he started was he made Bushworld Adventures for Adult Swim. Are you guys familiar with that?
No, I don't.
Nope.
I think you guys have seen it without knowing you've seen it.
Oh.
It is the Australian version of Rick and Morty. Did you see that? Like,
Oh.
there's like a short that like it's literally a spoof off of Rick and Morty, but it's all Australian.
Okay, so it was just like a one spoof. That's not like a full series or anything. Is it?
No, it's just one. So Justin Roiland is attempts. I've heard him talk about this in podcasts before, where he likes bringing people like out like he was
Rising stars.
Yeah. Michael Cusack was just a YouTube animator, Newgrounds shit, and Justin Roiland saw his stuff on YouTube and was like, maybe we can ask him to make a Rick and Morty like spoof for April Fool's Day.
Oh yeah.
So he reached out to him. Michael Cusack was like, of course. Mm-hmm. And while he was at Adult Swim doing that, he pitched Yolo. And
Hell yeah.
Yolo was actually a short on his YouTube that he wrote. YOLO 1 and YOLO 2. There's 2 episodes, and he wrote those 10 years ago. And it's just 2 party girls. And it's even crazier than what's on the actual fucking what's in the episodes now, if you can believe. There's some guy who's yelling, "I'm gonna fuck your shit in," and then he crawls into one of the girls' asses and fucks a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
such a wild like writing and concept that I feel like I'm very surprised that he came up with that 10 years ago. Because I feel like that's a very of now concept of just like 2 party girls just tearing it, like ripping it apart and breaking so many fourth walls in it. Just continue. But I thought it was
I
a
agree.
very
people
now
have been partying
concept.
forever, you know.
I just
you're
think
not
it's
wrong.
a breath.
Well,
But
yeah.
I think
just
it's a breath of fresh air for cartoons, like because you get the same fucking formula all the time. Let's get a family together with 4 people. There's going to be a
Yeah.
girl, a guy, and then another girl and a guy, and they're going to go in crazy antics around the
Yeah.
house. Like where this is just 2 party girls.
And you know what? Like they're good girl characters. They're funny. Like I feel
you know
like
what?
it's pretty good.
I feel like-
I mean, I don't know. They're
I feel like
party
that's
girls,
what
but-
I'm trying to point at the most. Like those characters that I feel like those girls, modern girl partiers, they didn't exist 10 years ago. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
feel like the way they
They
are with their
existed,
phones.
but they weren't portrayed on through
yeah,
a
they
TV
weren't
show.
portrayed on.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But I mean, even with like social media and stuff, you couldn't have done that same skit with Rachel being at the top of the party mountain where everyone's trying to take or whoever, they're trying to take a selfie with her. You couldn't have done that
Oh yeah.
10 years ago. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it is very interesting. I like when that happens. When like you are like, this is that like a hidden gem. You know, it should have been done now, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Totally. I feel like he inspired me in a lot of ways. One, with the story of these 2 episodes. It was so out there in terms of what the format was. At the from the first episode where they get invited to a party and then to the last episode, it takes place over the course of I think 100 years or something, and then I don't want to spoil the ending. What was funny is some crazy shit happened at the end where like some crystal god divinity goes, it's too cringe to explain. I can't teach. I'm not going to
Yeah.
explain it to you.
Like,
So
Rachel, it's too cringe to explain. Bye.
it's like, what the fuck? You're going to end it that but
that's
it
perfect.
also
That's the perfect ending for something like that.
it's a breath of fresh air because in terms of like people get overwhelming in terms of story and I feel like Michael Cusack has this thing. They do it in Smiling Friends too, where it's like, who gives a shit? Let's just like, we're here for laughs and they do it. So,
Yeah, let's just shit on a major plot point and get a good laugh out of it.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's good at
Exactly.
that.
And then the other thing that I really like about this that inspired me was that have you noticed there's basically no character rigging? Like the shots, like the character always looks sort of different because he tries to put these cinematic shot angles in there where it's like from below, up top, crazy from like angled from a different position. So you can't have the same character design in different shots. They're just basically redrawn in a different way every single time.
But it's it's not done well all the time too, and he uses
Right.
that as a joke.
That's funnier. Yeah.
I know.
It's
Like in the first episode too, they walk away into the sunset, but instead of walking away, they hold hands and just float awkwardly out of the screen.
That's good. I think
It
he's
is.
self-aware in the sense where it's just like, well, do we really want to spend all that time rigging them to walk when we could just make a joke out of having them float and finish this scene in the day? So
Totally.
right.
So yeah, that's the cartoon I watched this week. I'm going to give it to you, Constance.
Okay.
What cartoon have you been watching?
So for the last when did it? For the last like 12, I don't know how to do math. 12 years I've been watching Ponyo. It's a anime film by Hayao Miyazaki. Are you guys
Nice.
familiar?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I know you've brought it up before.
I bring it up like 3 times.
I know what it
a
looks
week.
like. Hold on.
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Is that a series or is that just a movie?
No, it's just
Oh, okay.
it's a film. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a movie. But it is probably my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. It's just I make everyone watch it, like everyone I can. I'm like, you need to watch this. I'll put it on for people just to watch it. It is like so visually stunning and the music, like there's just so many good things. And I took diligent notes so I could talk about every little inch of what I want to say. Which
Well,
would
before
be
you do,
4 hours worth.
From
Just kidding.
someone's perspective,
Yes.
that hasn't seen it. I actually haven't
Right.
even seen a Studio Ghibli piece of
What?
work. I really haven't. So tell me what
Jesus.
makes it so special to you. Like why would you?
Okay.
What's different about that than any other animation?
Okay, so first of all, it is so uplifting. The antagonist is barely an antagonist. It's so uplifting and positive. It's like an all audiences movie where like how Pixar movies are like for kids, but also adults enjoy them because of the themes.
They're wholesome.
Yes, very
Okay.
wholesome. And so it's uplifting visually. Like it's okay. This movie was hand drawn frame by frame. There's 170,000 frames. The way, like, can I give you plot first?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
want
don't-
plot?
Well,
Don't-
actually, could
don't
I
Do you
get-
mind
chime in?
spoilers? Yeah.
Don't
Could I chime
give
in
a
with what-
spoiler? Can you not do spoilers?
Yeah, no, I won't.
All right,
I
all
won't.
right.
No, I won't spoil.
Let me chime in why I think I want to answer your question as well as why I think what makes
Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki, why those are so special. I feel like it, in terms of like a film, it is as optimistic as one of those old Disney movies like Lion King or like Little Mermaid. You know,
oh wait, that's weird. It is actually his adaptation of The Little Mermaid.
Really?
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah. He was inspired by that. He like adapted it into this story, and then also some like who are the Vikings? What are some opera about Vikings? I don't know.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
So those two things inspired this movie.
So the
Okay.
story you're talking
Yeah.
about. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I'm actually talking when I said, I mean, that's cool as fuck. What I'm talking about though, it meant like was with the like stylistic way, like how it's almost realistically like that you touched on the hand drawn aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those old Disney movies, it was a million people working on them, shot
Yes.
by shot, and he does the same thing, but in a way where he doesn't. It's not backed by a huge like. He gets a team of animators together, but he's not Disney. It's one guy
Right.
who's
Well,
he's
it's-
magic pretty much. He like
Exactly.
blood, sweat, and tears. He puts all his fucking inspiration in this one film. He's like the Ozzy of the animation world, where he keeps saying he's on his last film, and then 5 years later he's like, I'm coming back
Yeah.
for one
So
more
is
That's
it-
film.
honestly,
Is
that's
it
kind of what he did with this. He
is
he
it a
made a
small
house
crew?
moving castle, and then this smaller. I mean, it's not Disney. I mean,
Okay,
I don't
all right.
honestly know where it's at today. They're so successful, like with Spirited Away.
Yeah,
okay.
Won
Now,
an
that
Oscar.
Disney
Like,
has, or wait, is it Disney who has them? Or
yeah, Disney. Like,
HBO, I thought had.
well,
HBO Go, you
Disney
could watch
owns them. Disney owns them in the
Oh, okay.
U.S., but then HBO Max is where you can watch them.
Oh, that's
Okay.
weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like in terms of watching, it's the most it's pretty visually stunning in terms of like frame by frame animation. It's unique. It has that hand drawn aspect that those old 2D films, and they're all
Right.
films.
He-
They're like 2 hours long ish. You know.
He pretty much said like he doesn't ever want to not do two-dimensional stuff. Like he was
Really?
like they shut down their entire CGI department and they don't use it anymore. They had a couple movies that they did, but this one, none of it. It was all pencil and ink. That was
Interesting.
yeah.
So would you say Ponyo would be the one to start with? If I were to if I were to watch
No.
one of his
No.
works?
I think that you should start with Spirited Away. That's
Okay.
the first one I saw, and it was like one of those movies that I was like, oh, I have to look into this, and then I did, and then I like saw the other movies. So yeah, I feel like I would start with that and then move on from there. There's a bunch of good ones for all different reasons. So.
And why would you start with that one? Why do you pick that one first?
So not only did it win an Oscar, that alone I feel like it's like, hey, you should check this out. But the story is so unique to me. I feel like I don't want to give that one away either, but it's about a girl who has to rescue her parents, essentially. That's all I'm going to say. And she's in the spirit world.
Okay.
So,
okay.
What does spirit world mean? What is...
So, basically, it's like, I don't know, like it's another dimension, I guess. Not a dimension, but like it's an alternate reality that she accidentally ends up in.
With like weird characters or something?
Yeah, no, there's like these like spirits. Like there's one that looks like a duck with a leaf on its head.
Oh, cool.
There's like a radish spirit that, I don't know, he looks weird. And then there's like monsters too, which is interesting. So
you would consider this an anime?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it's an anime film. You know, I guess it's just strictly because it was produced in Japan. You know, like it's a Japanese.
Yeah, isn't
film.
that basically what anime is?
Film.
Japanese animation. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I loved this movie. There was just like one very big distracting thing, and I had a question for you guys about this. Yes, in Ponyo. All-star cast. There was so many famous people in it, and I find it so distracting when I'm watching something, and it's not like just a voice. It's like, that's Liam Neeson. Because Liam Neeson was in it.
He was in Ponyo?
Yeah, he's her dad. He plays her dad.
That's funny.
So is that just the dubbed version, or is there...
Yeah.
All right.
For all these movies, I do the dubbed version because that's how I started it. And with that stuff, like, you know, I have to stick with what I started with.
Well, I feel like the dubs usually get bad raps because they get these bad actors. But if they have Liam Neeson, it's like...
No, it's good. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the voices are great, but I remember... So I thought I saw it in theaters the first time I saw it, and it was distracting. I was like, who's this? Who's this?
Oh,
like, trying to figure out who it was, and I don't think I appreciated it as much. Like, I wasn't really watching it, you know?
Oh, so your question is, do we get distracted by
do you,
real
like,
voice?
does it bother you when, like, you know?
I feel like if they're doing it well, if they're acting well, it doesn't bother me. If the acting is bad, then yes, it takes me out of the story, and I'm no longer thinking about what's happening.
So it doesn't necessarily bother you if it's like a famous person that acts.
As long as they're doing it well,
action.
you know, like I feel like some people pick like this new Mario movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like isn't Seth Rogen in it as one of the characters?
There's a lot of.
I think
that's
so.
a big cast. They got a lot of
Jack
big
Black.
See, but okay, so I watched
Jack
the trailer.
Black is great.
So Jack Black does Bowser, and it's fantastic.
Right.
But I feel like if Seth Rogen did a voice in there, I'd be like, oh, that's Seth Rogen. Like,
right.
I haven't heard it. I guess I'm guessing right now. I'm making an assumption.
He's typecast all the time. And I don't, so I feel like they picked him because of that. He's like, all right, well, just do your normal Seth Rogen. They don't expect anything crazily different from him.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem for me with Ponyo is that, like, there's Tina Fey. Like, she's just Tina Fey. Like, I can't unhear that it's Tina Fey.
I think that would pull me out
Betty
a little
White?
bit.
Come on.
Oh, really?
Betty White's in it. There's, like, Tina Fey, Matt Damon, Kate Blanchett. I don't know if you know who she is. Yeah.
Jesus. That
Liam
is an all-star
Neeson,
cast.
Lily Tomlin, and then Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's little sister, is Ponyo.
Really?
Huge names.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. But I want to talk more about the animation. So there's these like visually stunning backgrounds and stuff, and then these like super simple clean lines where there's movement. And basically, what I want to say is it reminds me a lot of a different movie of his when they weren't using CGI, and like it also reminds the entire internet. Have you, Brett, seen My Neighbor Totoro? Al hasn't because he said he hasn't.
I know. I feel like I know. Like I have images in my head of that big monster. Is that the guy? Yeah. Like that ovally looking like monster, cute thing. But I can't really remember that movie, so I don't know if
I mean, the story's not similar, but it's just like these backgrounds that are so beautiful, and like they look like, I don't know, like so smooth and creamy. It's like pastel-y almost. And then like, I don't know. I just love the way it looks. It's really like magical, I feel like. And I definitely think it like matches the story. Like the animation is magical, like these like magic stories. I don't know how else to describe it.
Nice.
You know?
No, I hear that. I feel like Japan in general is just very good at doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really
they're,
are.
like, I don't know why, but I feel like they're better at doing that than most of the backgrounds that I see
Right.
in American animation. I don't know.
I feel like Western,
That's
Western animation is like I feel like their mindset is more sit down, pummel through it no matter what. While like in Japan, they're more like focused around like the spiritual aspect of stuff, and I feel like that's just going to give you cooler visuals, you know? Like,
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I also feel like he's kind of just a genius.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, that could be it too.
But there's so much like the whole film is set on the ocean, on like a cliff by the ocean. And like the like theme song of it is like Ponyo on the cliff or something, I think they call it. But there's so much water. They're surrounded by ocean. There's like a tsunami that comes, not a spoiler. And it's the way the water moves is just incredible. Like that's like what's so magical also about it to me is like it's so fluid looking, and I feel like water's one of those things that's like it could be bad, like poorly animated.
Oh yeah,
you know, like
to animate hand drawn
very
2D
right.
water is nuts.
Well, and I had read online too that typically with ships, like they'll have a cell and they'll slide it across so the ship will move. But because they did it like each frame hand drawn, like the way they move through the water even is like you could see it like sort of shifting. Like
cool.
it's very.
You need some patience to be able to do that. I feel like it's just
Seriously.
like let's just move that ship and figure out
Yeah.
the quickest
Just
way to
click
get
and
from
drag
A to
that
Z.
across the page. Yeah,
Yeah,
And
right.
it just gets better. There's this scene actually that was like directly created from Hayao Miyazaki. He was inspired by Ride of the Valkyries. You know that song? Like it's like one of those like
I know Valkyrie from
I think
Marvel.
I don't know. I can't remember. Okay. Well, not that now. But it's some song. I can't remember it right now. But this is what I read. He was inspired by it, and he painted this picture of Ponyo riding like an ocean full of fish. I guess like this thing, and it ended up as a scene in the movie, and it's my second favorite scene. It's so just insane looking, the way the water's moving and there are these giant fish and she's just like skirting across the top of the water. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's something I couldn't imagine was hand drawn, you know?
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it
Yeah.
out.
You really do. You really do.
Well,
I know.
Is there anything else you wanted to add about Ponyo before I throw it over to Al?
Let me think. Oh, yeah. I also would just like every single person not only watch this movie. If you don't watch it, just look up the soundtrack. It's like a score. The opening song, it's like Deep Sea Pastures, is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard.
Okay.
Like it's classical music, but like if you just want something to like chill or fall asleep to, it's very calming and uplifting.
Cool. If we can find that, we're going to link that in the description below.
I tried to find it on YouTube and like you really can't. There's
gotta be a
we could
way.
do some deep diving. Yeah.
deep dive. Yeah, you're gonna have to deep dive
Yeah.
and link it.
And if we can't, whatever, fuck you. Go find it
Spotify.
yourself.
It's on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Oh, okay.
Figure it
Yeah,
out.
it is.
Figure it out.
Back up.
So thank you, Connie, for that.
Yeah.
Alex, what cartoon have you been watching?
So I've been watching Dragon Ball Super, and I haven't finished it, but I will say This is the third time I've tried to finish it.
Oh my god!
And
so basically, you're saying it sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I'm bringing this in because I feel like you guys both appreciate it. I've had plenty of friends that have tried to have said Dragon Ball Super is awesome, and I love Dragon Ball Z. Like I was a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. I have no qualms with it. I can't even tell you why I have kept putting this down and moving to different things, but because it's good. I think it's almost like it's just a continuation of Dragon Ball Z. It takes place 10 years after the fight with Majin Buu. World's at peace, and of course, another problem comes up, and Goku has to kind of save the day. And I think that's part of it. I think what is starting to annoy me with Dragon Ball, the whole Dragon Ball concept, is that Goku is so overpowered, and I feel like that creates a flat story when you can't rely on anyone else to kind of pick up the slack. And usually, if Goku can't win, it's almost by his own doing. It's almost by his like, oh well, I wanted to let you win for a while so I can push myself even harder. You know what I mean? Things like that. So one of my main questions that I wanted to ask you guys about this was, do you think that stories, I would mainly say anime because they have they usually have a storyline that picks up from last episode. So you can't just start at episode 50 or whatever.
Right.
Do you think that they have a shelf life? And do you think at one point, it's just like it's time to stop doing this story? Or
Oh my God,
if,
yes.
If you don't, I got that. But if what makes it possible to keep going? Because there's plenty of huge animes that do this, which like Naruto is still going with Boruto. Even Attack on Titan is in Attack on Titan final season part 3.
Part
like,
30 of
are you
going to
keep going? Because it's possible to keep going, but is there a shelf life? Even if it's good writing, is it just time to stop?
You know what's funny to me is somebody recently asked me what I thought of the new Rick and Morty season, and I was like, oh, it's pretty, like, I like it, whatever. And they were like, sometime a show just has to end. And I was like, okay, like, I get it. But that's how I feel with Boruto.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're trying to do, I understand both sides of the coin, because what I think that they're trying to do is they realized they couldn't go any further. And they're like, well, let's use the same universe and try to speak to this new generation. Like they're done dealing with the people that watched it when they were young. They're like, let's move on to their kids. And we could do that by basically starting over. But
I know, I totally get that. But Brett, you told me a fun fact yesterday, right?
About what?
About Boruto. You had said that they caught up.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why it's just garbage right now.
So, okay. So I have two things. Okay. One, I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to talk about Super. But one, with the reason why Boruto sucks right now is because the manga, the video or the show has literally caught up to the manga, and it's
just all filler.
Oh, it's like just writing.
It's been filler for like a year.
Last season of Game of Thrones,
7 years.
Dealing with the screenwriters. All right. Okay.
But with Super, I'm coming at it from a point of view. I actually like Dragon Ball Super.
I don't think it's bad. I put it down plenty of times.
See, I understand where you're coming from. I feel like where you're coming from is you watched this anime when you were a younger kid, and it was probably the first anime you ever saw. It was fucking awesome. And now as an adult now, you come back to it with this nostalgic feel of, oh, remember how awesome that cartoon was. But it actually came back exactly the same, and you're bored of it.
Yeah.
I
Kinda,
think
yeah.
that you've seen a bunch of other animes and you're like, oh, well, they did this better and they did this better. And it came back and it's the exact same thing and you're pissed about it, I don't think it changed. It's it is kind of a little exhausting. Like you've got a group of characters that are all super heavily powered. Like maybe let's not make Goku win every battle. Like give someone else the chance to win sometimes. But besides that, like it's still the same show it was. And,
But isn't that also a problem? Not changing, not evolving.
I don't know. Like I never watched much of any of the Dragon Ball series, but I watched parts of Super and I liked it. It made me want to go back and watch more, but also I didn't for time, it's a lot.
It had lulls for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the old one, remember, so they would have fucking 10 episodes of one guy screaming
They
and
had
power
that
up.
in, Super, like the episodes I saw, it would be like 10 episodes of like one punch in a fight.
Which
you know what's crazy?
Which is funny
So
because they don't have filler. They don't have filler. They'll just have one guy screaming for an entire episode.
Yeah.
But then they realized they did that and decided to make an edit and call it Dragon Ball Z Kai. So
that's what that was?
They made an
I
edit
didn't know
on their regular season, and they're like, "Well, this is a little
I
too
thought it
much.
was
Let's
like its
edit
own
that."
thing.
No, it's Dragon
that's
Ball
funny.
Z revised.
Oh my God.
That's the only show that ever did that, probably, right? It's like
Probably-
I can't think of
probably.
another show that came out with the same version of itself without the fat attached.
Oh my
to
God.
it. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
There were some funny parts in Super. Like I was laughing my ass off when they even know that like there's so many characters in Dragon Ball world, but no one gives a shit about most of them. It's mainly just like Goku and the rest of the Saiyans. That it was like the first episode. It's Bulma's party or birthday party, whatever, and Vegeta doesn't want to go, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go see Yamcha." Like, who gives a fuck about Yamcha? And they know it. So it's like, I do think that's funny that they're kind of making jokes on it themselves. But other than that, I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like it has a shelf life.
Yeah. There was also, of what I saw, like, there's some characters that I liked.
Oh,
like,
yeah. You.
I'm
who are
obsessed
you?
with
Let me guess.
Whis.
Let me guess.
Oh,
Whis.
She already said
Yeah,
it.
I love Whis. But also,
He's fabulous.
who else am I?
Lord
because there's
Zeno.
one. Is that the little?
Yeah.
That
The
is me. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Those are my two. Like, I just think I like those characters. I guess I just like, I don't know. I feel
Doofuses.
like, yeah, silly stuff. I like silly stuff.
You got anything else to add with Super Al?
No, it's good. I hate coming here and shitting on anything, but that's the thing.
No,
like,
I think
I'm not
we
even
should do
shitting
that
on
more.
It.
Dude,
I'm not
we
even
should do
shitting.
that more.
All right.
We should have episodes where we talk about what cartoon we hated, because I think that's even that. Like, let's shit talk. Let's fucking.
All right.
I would listen to that.
Yeah.
I love shit talk.
You would rather listen. You didn't listen to the previous
I mean, who
9
knows?
episodes, but you'll listen to us shit talk.
No, but I honestly would like to be there for that.
Okay,
all
right.
I have a lot
Well,
to
we're
say.
definitely getting you back on here.
Appreciate
on the
it.
next. Thank you for hanging out with us,
Yeah,
Connie.
of course.
If you like this, if you enjoyed this, you want more, go to our Patreon, click the links below, watch all the episodes before, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys. This was a good episode. How do we normally end this?
I don't know,
Bye.
but it was fun.
Bye. Yeah, later.
Oh, this is cringe. Bye.
This is not how I imagined. No, it's not how I imagined it would be.
Early television.